How you doing, Rick?
It's Tuesday.
Here we are. It's Tuesday here we are Tuesday with another hot topic. Imagine that.
I know, amazing, isn't it? It
We
never
should
ends.
We should start hosting a happy hour instead.
Oh yeah, I'll drink to that.
I know. Exactly. Not quite that time yet.
Yeah.
So this week we have chosen for our topic, it's disappearing price ranges. Where did they go? Are they ever coming back? So I'll start off with explaining what I mean. So when we bought our first house, it was 1997, and our first house was $135,000. Now, will we ever see houses for $135,000 ever again? No, we will not. For 235, no, we will not. 335, no. 435, no. Those opportunities have passed. If you're a first-time home buyer, we need you because you're the beginning of a couple of events that are probably going to happen. And unfortunately, you're going to have to spend quite a bit of money to get yourself into the housing market. So I know that some of these things that we talk about are sort of repeat things, but it's okay. Sometimes things need to be repeated and updated. So I was explaining to you a minute ago that typically in Orange County, in my 22 years of experience, that the spring market is the hottest market. I love the spring market. There's lots of houses coming up for sale. Normally you've got a lot of listings because what people don't understand, they think it's summer and they relate it to the kids going to school. But kids around here, when does your kid start going to school? Mine goes to school the first week of August.
It's earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have like kids starting school in September anymore. We have kids starting school in August. So if they want to, parents want to get scooting, then, June is kind of the time that they should put the house up for sale. So, this is it. Like, this is the most inventory I think we're going to have for the whole year. So it's not getting any better. We've been in a housing shortage since 2018. Since 2018, we have not had enough houses to sell. So I don't know why everybody's just like, oh my gosh, of course, this is compounding. This is the whole problem right here, is that not enough houses and interest rates are super low. So, it's a very good problem for sellers, but it is wearing for buyers. Buyers are exhausted. They're feeling like they are having to give a lot of concessions, and they're not really thrilled. So we're seeing the low end of the properties, and it's kind of an abstract idea because the low end of the properties are going to have the most amount of buyers, and they're going to be bid up quite a bit because people just they have to get in to the housing market. So any kind of condo under 500,000 right now, I'm seeing that if you don't bid up to like 30,000 over the asking, you're not even going to get a counter. Nobody's even going to bat their eyelashes at you. Even if that price to start with seems already like it's kind of high. You could look at that price, you could look at comps and say, well, that one's 15,000 over the last one, so maybe we'll only go 15,000 over this one, and that'll be our 30 grand. And I am afraid to tell you that logic, it's not going to work. So let's just look. I used North Orange County. I used Anaheim, Fullerton, Tustin, Brea, Yorba Linda, which we know we won't find any in Yorba Linda. I used a single family house with at least, the normal house around here is, 3 bedrooms and 1.5 bathrooms, right?
Right.
So I said, in the last 6 months, 180 days, if you were looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in North Orange County, how many have sold for under 500,000 that did not have an HOA? So I'm trying to like whittle this down,
Wow, I'd say next to nothing,
right?
right?
Okay,
Under
let's go.
500,000 in the last, how
Under
many months?
500 6 months.
I think it's 0.
All right, you're betting on
SFRs?
zero.
Mhm.
Yeah, SFR,
SFR, no HOA?
no HOA. So there's one
Mhm.
that sold on East Street in Anaheim. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,100 square feet on a 3,800 square foot lot. For the folks at home, East Street is a very busy street. It turns into Raymond and Fullerton. It's like a 5-lane street. And
Mhm.
it's a mix match, mix match of, apartments, houses,
Commercial.
commercial. It had a 1-car
Mhm.
garage and a 3,700 square foot lot's pretty small.
That's really small.
No central air or anything like that. It was
Yikes.
rough.
Older
And
house too, right?
yeah, and it sold for $499. That was
Mm.
house number 1. Because
Mhm.
Rick, there's only 3. There's 3 houses that sold for under 500,000 in the last
Wow.
6 months.
Okay.
One sold in Buena Park. That one looks like it had some monkey business. And by monkey business, I mean, it was listed at a lot higher, like hundreds of thousands of dollars higher than what it actually sold for. So that must
That's
be
weird. Yeah.
maybe it's a misprint.
Yeah. Could
And
be.
the third one sold in Buena Park on Kingman, and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a 1920 house. And that one sold for 500. So that's it. So consider the 500 and under gone for a
Gone.
detached house.
Off the
It's
table.
gone. It's not happening again.
Yep.
Even if the market crashed, which I have not seen anyone who is qualified to make these kind of statements say that the market's crashing anytime soon.
Not going to happen.
So in the North Orange County area right now, we'll bump it up to 600,000, under 600,000 for 3-2 with no HOA.
Okay.
Guess how
Same
many
period.
are for sale? Yeah.
Under 6, I'm going to say 35.
There's 3.
Oh man. 3?
There's 3 houses for sale.
Wow, I missed that by a wide margin.
I know.
Wow.
I know. There's 3 houses for sale. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 in escrow. And there's like 17 that have sold in the last 6 months.
Under 600,000.
Under 600. And I'm not going to go over all the condition of all those, but that's the next range to disappear.
That's disappearing right now.
It's disappearing as we speak.
But think about that. 6 months, 6 months, that's a very big territory. That's not one small 30,000, population city. That's probably a 3, 4, 500,000 population.
Well, Anaheim has
geographic area. Was what? How big is
like
Anaheim? 400,000?
Yeah, I mean, Anaheim's 52 square miles, but that includes the hills. But it's like Anaheim's got 400,000 people in it. So
we're talking maybe close to 800,000 people, and that seemed like you count Fullerton, Anaheim, Buena Park, all those areas, right?
I agree.
So the population of roughly 800,000, maybe, right?
Yeah.
700,000. How many sold in that price range? Said 16.
16.
There you go.
That's
a very, very small percent of the market.
So if you call me right now and you say you want to buy a detached house for under 600,000, I'm gonna call the Back to the Future guy with the flux capacitor, and
all right,
I'm gonna get us back 2 years ago. I could have gotten you a great house, for 600,000. I could have gotten you a great house, but people. I mean, I think this whole pandemic has taught us a lot of things, and one of the things that it's taught me personally, what it's really driven home, is that if you want to do something, you should just do it. If it makes sense, if you can afford it. Let's say the market does crash and all of these market crashers are right. If the market does crash, if you pick somewhere you can hang out for 5 to 10 years that's affordable to you, But I still don't see why the market would crash except for
It's
interest
not,
rates.
it's just not.
I don't think all
The
the,
numbers, there's nothing there to support that. I mean, you and I have a long history of doing this.
yeah,
We see some of those indicators, what would be a precursor, if you will, to a market bubble or a crash, right? None of that exists. And as you said earlier, we've been in a tight market since 2018. This is
mhm,
not like in the last 6 months it's gotten tight. Now we're going to be, in a bubble. No, this is the path forward.
mhm,
And gosh, I mean, yeah, that's a good point. It's a disappearing price range,
mhm,
right? It just is what it is, right? So the very small part of the population who wants to think that, like, we're going to see this crash and houses will drop 200,000, that is very flawed thinking, because it's
mhm,
not going to happen. It's not
mhm.
going to happen. It's just not.
No,
Sorry. I mean, I know that's blunt, but that's the reality. And you and I both have the history in this market to know how that's going to play out.
right. And it's like, they have a saying, when was the best time to plant a tree? Was yesterday. When's the
Yesterday,
next
right?
best time? It's today. Like,
Hmm.
make your decision, get
Hmm.
yourself in the market. And if you're gonna, and I'm not happy with what's going on. Like
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would like to get all of my buyers into escrow, and
Oh, yeah.
it's brutal out there. It is
Hmm.
brutal, but like, people have to understand, when I give them advice or you give them advice, it's not because I'm creating any kind of shortcut for myself. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to make my job easier. It's none of that. It's like, it's all about, I want you to get in a house, because
Hmm.
it's, especially, if you can totally afford it, just get in the house and
Hmm.
make a home out of it
Hmm.
and be done with it, because this is
Yeah. Don't
quickly,
overthink it.
with the prices appreciating at the rate that they are.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, you're gonna get priced out pretty quickly. Like, if you want to spend
Yeah.
500,000 in a 2-3 months, it's gonna be 530, and then
Hmm.
550, and then 560. So
Hmm.
just get it locked down today, so you don't
Hmm.
have to keep
Hmm.
torturing yourself, and you can move on with your life.
Yeah. I think the important message here is don't overthink it,
Hmm.
because the people that want to analyze this stuff into the ground are the ones losing the offers. They're
Hmm.
not good. They're not, because they think there's some formula or some magic pill. They want to do things their way because they think in their mind that's how it works. And they wind up getting outbid, or they end up losing houses they really could have had if
I
they
want
would
to
just
clarify
not
too what you're
overthought it.
saying. Because you're saying don't overthink it, and you're
Hmm.
saying, when you have pricing advice, it's like,
Hmm.
don't sit there and split hairs. It's like, well,
Right.
this one had a pink toilet and this one has a white
Oh my
toilet.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
just move forward. And if you can afford it and it makes sense for you,
Just
and you
do it.
can see yourself there for a while,
Hmm.
God forbid if anything else happens in the world,
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
let me tell you about the 700 and under price
Oh,
range.
okay. Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So this is a huge area. Like we said, it's
Yep.
probably, 600, 700,000 people, who knows?
Hmm.
So under 700, there are 2 houses coming soon. There are
Wow.
19 that are active. There are 20 under contract, and there's 220 that have closed in the last 6 months.
Okay.
But what you have to look at is that the 220 that have closed in the last 6 months far outweighs the amount that are coming soon or active.
Hmm.
If there's only 21 that are coming soon or active, how is that also going to make up these numbers? That's what I'm trying to say, is that
Yeah, that's a dwindling.
it's
That is
dwindling.
also a dwindling price range, right?
Yeah.
Because
And
if the
this is the
market
peak.
was, yeah.
This is the peak. This is when, the
Hmm.
most houses come up for sale, and there's not been a rush of them. And I think people too, with COVID, I think if you surveyed homeowners, I would bet you that at least 20 or 30% of them would like to move,
Hmm.
but they're scared because they
Okay,
can't
yeah,
find what to purchase.
right.
So they don't want to do anything because they've got paralysis here. They're like, I'm not going to
Mhm.
sell my house and become homeless and wait to find something and go rent for a while, because it's like, how much of the price is going to go up then, you know? So people aren't moving because of that. And I think people
Mhm.
aren't moving because they maybe refinanced and got like a 2.5% interest rate. Like,
Right,
they're never giving that up, you know? And
true. That's true.
so I don't see any relief for this problem, honestly.
Mm-mm.
Like, there's no more land around here to really build on that's
No,
a detached home. So my advice is just, if you see something, it makes sense, you can totally afford it, then just, grab it while you
Mhm.
can and ask, a good way to look at things. Realtors have started doing this thing where when something goes into escrow, they change the price in the MLS to the price that they've accepted,
Oh,
which
really?
is, I love that, because then that tells me in that little neighborhood there what's trending as far as buyers'
Mhm.
offers go.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's helpful. So yeah, do you have any words of wisdom regarding this that you'd like to add?
Well, I think that's a great topic, because I never thought about it in terms of like a disappearing price range. Because we have some buyers that started looking at houses last fall
Mm,
at say 650, and they're going, I can't get an offer then. Well, now it's not 650, it's 725,
that's right. It is.
750,
It
right?
is.
And so I think the message, honestly, and it's not a scare tactic, it's just a reality. And this is, in my mind, it's this: time is not their friend.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
not, right? It's just not. I hate to say that, because listen, I would far rather be in a market where a buyer can choose between 2 or 3 houses they really kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
and then make an offer and do some arm wrestling with the seller, the only buyer on that house, and then come to terms, everybody's happy, and you close escrow.
Right.
That's not the market,
Right.
right? I would far rather have that,
Me too.
you
Yeah.
know,
This is
but
a lot. And that's another thing too. It's like, if you do decide to go into the market right now, that you
mhm.
have to realize that it is a marathon. It's not a
Oh,
sprint.
right.
Don't exhaust yourself. Don't get completely emotionally involved in it
Hmm.
until you get the keys, because
Until you get the keys,
um,
right?
yeah, pace yourself. Just do everybody a favor and just pace yourself.
Be patient, be reasonable, and as you said, don't split hairs,
Right.
right? I mean, we can't get caught up on the small things, because that's where you're gonna go into a space that you don't want to go there, because
Hmm.
you're not going to win
Right.
with that, right? You're just going to frustrate yourself by doing that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know these poor buyers. I have to tell you, one thing I didn't tell you yet. So
Hmm.
we went out to breakfast on Sunday, and I won't say, I'll keep everything anonymous here. So I went out to breakfast on Sunday, and our server is someone who had gotten their real estate license, and they've been out, trying to make a deal out of it.
Sure.
And he came up to me, and he was like, he had like tears in his eyes. And he said that he was like scrolling social media, and he saw a video that we did, and he watched it, and he sent it to his buyers and
Mm.
said, see, like, you've got, like, because he's so frustrated. I can't imagine
Yeah.
being a new agent,
Oh.
just so frustrated and
Hmm.
trying to get a house for these people. And I guess he's just been having a go at it, as we all have been.
Hmm.
And yeah, so he was very appreciative and said he wanted to call, but he didn't want to bother us, but said,
Mm.
thank you very much, because it was really helpful for him. So
That's nice to know. That's
yeah,
nice to know.
I
Very
know.
good.
I
Yeah.
know
Right.
that was a nice moment.
Yeah. Very good. Nice to hear that.
All right, Rick, I appreciate you, and
Appreciate
keep up
you.
the good work. And if anybody has a topic they want us to cover, we're always happy to address that, and shoot me a text or an email or message, or share it with a friend, share a video with a friend.
Yeah,
help
right.
people to help themselves and have a good experience.
Fantastic. Good stuff.
All right. Thank you, and I will talk to you very soon.
Take care, Nathan. See ya.